안녕하세요.
Welcome.
네,
Hello.
분석 데스크 2020
We are back after our first week of LCK Spring split, and now we're heading to week number 2. We're going to be having a pre-match analyst task with Victory and Lyra, and I'll be helping with the translation. So we've seen a lot of changes coming in this season. So it's a new season, new patch, but also in game. We've seen a lot of live stats and also so many cool graphics during the analyst tasks. So I hope we enhance the viewers' experience. When also Lyra wanna talk about how the pro players adapted to the new meta. With these new changes, we had a lot of issues. So let's go through it with the highlight clips. Afreeca, Genji, DRX had a clean week number 1. The darlings of Caspa Cup, Afreeca showed a very promising performance with Keen and also other players as well. They also were willing to try a lot of different cards like Rumble Support, Pantheon, and Karthus. And Genji also had a very good score 2-0 so far. However, their game was a little bit dragged and boring, but in the end they got what really matters, the victories. And DRX, they played with their mechanics really well around the rookie players in their team, Keria and Pusic especially. Keria got the first support POG, and also Pusic is proving himself as a professional player. Maybe they are performing even better than the fans' expectations. Pusic picked up 2 POGs in a row, also followed by Clid. And the Korean G2, Hana Life Esports had an excellent game on Soraka, Olaf, Yumicom. It was in the Hana Life versus T1 game number 3. In this decider game, Hana Life actually played the first top Soraka game in LCK, and they finished the competition with Olaf, Ornn, Aphelios, Yuumi. So with this infinite healing from Soraka and Yuumi, Olaf never fell and even picked up a quadra kill. And we had a really nerve-wracking game as well from Daman Gaming. After a very hard laning phase, Nogri was in an angry Nogri mode, and this Fat Rise pushed 70% of the turrets and ended the game with a backdoor with a perfect combo on his skill shots and also the auto attacks. So Nogri answered the key was the bonus spell attack speed from the rune. And speaking of the pick and ban raids, Akali Aphelios set scored 100% rate so far. Akali was banned in all 26 games. Aphelios is showing great success in LCK so far, 16 wins and 8 losses, which is twice the loss. And also Set is banned for a lot of games, but even when it's picked, it is not showing a great success. And we also have some strap cards as well. Elise and Leona. Elise is on a 2-7 record so far, and Leona is also facing only 1 victory in out of the 7 games. Pusic was the first one to get the win on Elise with the Hex Flash Elise. And Tusin and F4's Leona was quite disappointing for the fans to watch. So these were the issues of last week. And so we want to talk about the draft in depth. So let's check out some of the pick and ban stats in LCK.
조금 더 자세히 뱀픽률에 대한 이야기 나눠보도록 하겠습니다. 만나보시죠.
As you mentioned, Akali was biting the dust for the entire week number 1. But Aphelios was able to hit the rift quite often and also managed to find a lot of success. But Seth is really showing a very interesting stat because, well, Seth was banned in so many games, but even when it was let through, it's not really having a very high win rate. However, Elise is in a very bad situation. It's on a 2-7 score, and also we wanna talk about how LCK teams really kind of put Elise on a high priority despite this very low win rate. And a lot of people expected that Affilius and Misfortune will be the top 2 AD carries in the current meta, so teams will be trading those cards. However, Misfortune is not having a very good time on the Rift yet. So especially about the Elise, maybe the players are pulling off quite okay, a great performance during the scrims and practice game. However, in competitive games, we actually haven't seen a very powerful early game Elise. Then let's compare the pick and ban rates with other regions. Strangely enough, LCK just overlooks Senna. Well, in LEC, Senna is above 50% win rate, and LCK, well, the win rate is not really high. However, we've seen very frequent Senna games. However, Senna is about the late game, so maybe LCK is preferring the champions with burst damage. So LCK maybe putting all the champions that can do a high burst damage in the mid game and also in the late game. So the teams cannot just wait for the Senna to have a power spike in the very late phase of the game. And also, Elise, once again, the priority is too high, but it haven't found any meaningful success yet. And let's move on to the standings in LCK. Genji, Afreeca DRX already started the win streak. Damwon is on the 4th place, and Sandbox was expected to be the stronger teams. They're in the 1st place, but there are a lot of potential yet, and Hana Life Esports showed a very unique team style, and followed by T1. However, Griffin, APK, and Kate Roaster, they are having a very hard time. Griffin used to be on the top for the entire last year, so it's really weird to see them on the bottom in the beginning of the split. Faker and Nuguri got 3 POGs already, which means Faker is still in form, so we can be excited for the upcoming T1 matches as well. And also Nuguri is still powerful in 2020 LCK, but it's really interesting to see that junglers are on the ranking, because a lot of people have been saying that it is not a jungler meta. Jungler will be having a very hard time in this season. So on Fleek, Split, Pusic on the ranking is a very meaningful outlier here. And also on Fleek got 2 Rek'Sai POG, Split got 1 Listen, 1 Rek'Sai POG, and Pusic got Rek'Sai and Elise POG. Clear wants to talk about the junglers getting the POG because still junglers can do a lot of work, they can have a lot of impact in games, so people just shouldn't just overlook the junglers, how powerful they are. So especially with the junglers, Rek'Sai was the common champions that the 3 POG players shared, though it will be one of the key champions in the pick and bans as well. Let's go through the schedules for this week. Today we have APK versus Afreeca for match 1, and match 2 will be Griffin versus Sandbox. We've got so many exciting matches this week. KT versus T1, the old Telecom War will be coming in tomorrow, and Friday is Griffin versus APK, 2 teams with no victories yet. So this can be a huge momentum, huge turnaround for either team. And Saturday, Afreeca versus DRX will be really a big match, because those 2 teams are on a 2-0 score, so one team will get their first loss as well.
싸우는 팀들끼리 맞붙으면 경기의 재미가 배가 되겠죠. 자, 이번 주도 계속해서
This
기대해
will
주시길 바라면서
be it for today's pre-match analyst desk, and let's begin with APK versus Afreeca, our match number 1 for today.
만나보시죠.
Thank you so much, Jason, for the translation, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK Spring 2020. I'm Atlas, this is LS. We're up to week 2, another 5-day week for LS. The EGIM update is that he's not here yet. So it's just going to have to be more and more Lasnack as we go on. Are you ready? Are you prepared?
I'm something.
You're something?
I'm something.
You're moving your microphone closer to your mouth. That's because we can't hear you. We want to hear those dulcet tones.
All right.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Much better. Much better. Got to iron out some of the kinks here at the early stages of the LCK, but we got some big matches. The first one, largely going to be a speed run here for Afreeca Freecs, I think is the expectation for everyone, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they've adjusted as far as draft is concerned, because it felt to me like they were forcing weird picks. I mean, we've got 3 picks of the Cannon for Keen. There's some really strange stuff that's being reinforced for this team. I think DRX is another squad that has been almost rewarded for bad drafting. And we're looking forward to this week seeing a bit of an evolution of what our LCK teams think is like the meta draft. Because even in that the opening analyst desk section, we were discussing, you know, the fact that the meta here in Korea is very different, and also we've got high priority on very losing champions, which is very strange.
Korea, as a region, it's very slow to accept change, and it's very slow to adapt. So what has been tried and true, even though it hasn't really been going that true, is definitely going to probably stick around longer than it should. And coming into today's match, like you said, we're expecting it to go one way, and this is sort of very akin to the Jin Air Green Wings of old, where whenever teams go up against them, they're considered the heavy favorite, although APK looks even weaker than that, so we'll see if they do something interesting here today. But like you're mentioning, they are gimping themselves, or Afreeca, with some of their picks, as we're going into the points of the match. Freshman APK here, going up against the LCK favorite, and really is David versus Goliath, except
it's the classic cliche at this point. The Afreeca Prince is what we have here. We'll see whether Afreeca can show us a little bit more. Of course, did drop a game last week. It's not like this team is perfect by any means, and still has their own things to get through, their own trials. Got some really interesting things happening when it comes to what these players have been practicing as well. Spirit's still on 75% support games. I have a feeling that we're going to see Afreeca evolve into a squad where Spirit is going to be their main support. That's what I'm feeling. Because Afreeca's always been this squad that's relied on Spirit for his shot calling, and that's what's helped them look so fluid and so cohesive throughout the Kesper Cup as well as here in the LCK for 2020 Spring. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the evolution is and what the best final form of this Afreeca Freecs squad is going to be. So we check out some of the stats. Damage per minute, certainly extraordinarily high. I think this has a lot to do with Keen putting people in the dumpster and doing ludicrous things. Like his Aatrox 38% damage share game, I believe that was Keen,
that
was just disgusting.
That was a really big game. But Keen has fortunately been finding himself with some teammates this season, as
he's
he
needed to be
definitely
carried too.
Yeah, he's been carried across the finish line a couple of times, which is not what used to happen for Afreeca Freecs. And you know, the other point of the match that I think was really interesting is Ixu is really running the gauntlet here against top laners.
He really has not had an easy start. He certainly has not had an easy start. It's okay. Now he goes up against Keen. It'll be fine. Don't worry. I'm actually, I'm looking at Ixu as well, because he's been the guy that normally is known for picking Volibear and Singed and doing weird stuff and trying to confuse his opponent. He straight up has not done that so far today. As we're going to check out some of the highlights here, as looking for them for APK is difficult, but they have had some early games that have worked.
And APK, remember, they did get CLG'd in one of their matches. That was extremely unfortunate. Nuguri able to find that backdoor or a front door. I mean, it was pretty upfront about it. So.
He was definitely upfront about it. He was murdering people while he was doing it.
That's actually so surprising that we've seen endings like this now several times in different regions.
Yeah.
Happening in such close proximity.
Welcome to Aphelios, by the way. He landed the Q, which is why he's just able to shoot chakrams at people from a million miles away. I think a lot of the highlights being about this Karthus pick is a really good pickup from the LCK, because that game was an evolution, shall we say, of the Afreeca Freecs throughout the series, because their other drafts weren't as cool as that one. And that one they actually nailed, apart from the Kenneth being on the team.
That was some really good movement there by Keen.
Oh, the sidestep of the play. Stunning stuff. This was Mystic's mega outplay. You missed the beginning of it, but even the beginning of this fight was really beautiful to watch. As so good to see Mystic here in the LCK, and especially on his world-famous Ashe pick. It's not going to be the 80 carries that we're going to be looking at, though. It's going to be the jungle. Flawless versus Spirit. Flawless had been falling out of favor in the LPL before he came over to APK, but before that he was a man with a lot of hype behind him. Sort of reminds me of Crash a lot. You remember Crash? Both of them, Lee Sin players. Crash, extraordinarily hyped, especially when he was back here in Korea, but really falling from grace. And I think that Flawless is going to have to do a reverse Crash in order to get back up here in the LCK. But the players around him aren't necessarily there, and it's been a rough start for Flawless.
Yeah, it really has. And Spirit, with that damage per minute, he's first in the league right now. I actually wonder how much Karthus is bolstering that stat. Generally, when
probably almost 100%.
Yeah, when you play that champion, it really just tends to carry that statistic.
Yep.
Very high to the top.
It doesn't even matter if it's also boosting your death statistics, because actually, oftentimes, that means that you just can't be CC'd out of your abilities to do even more damage. We'll see whether Spirit's going to get a little bit of attention on his Karthus. I know if you guys were paying attention to what T1 was throwing around on social media this week, Cuz has been putting in a lot of time on the Karthus as well and having a lot of fun on it.
Yeah.
So I think that it will certainly prove to be a bit of a flavor of the week pick up here, even if it was only picked once last week. Certainly drew a lot of heads. But this is going to be the matchup, APK versus Afreeca, David versus Goliath, most definitely. But, you know, in the David versus Goliath story, it was about getting out your slingshot and really finding where to hit them. I don't know where you hit this Afreeca Freecs squad in order to knock them down. I just, like, there's no eyes present. You know how you're, like, looking at a final boss and you're like, well, here's the weak point. I don't know where that is.
And I think that also APK's almost win came from a lot of different problems that was going on for their opponent inside of that game, but the fact that they ended up losing in the way that they did.
Just depressing, really.
Yeah, and we'll see if it ended up affecting them at all, but also coming into this game, where is their headspace at? Because even though they've only played 2 matches right now, the manner in which they've lost, you have to wonder how it's affecting them. And as Split Straw on, if you just keep losing, it's really hard.
It's hard to drag yourself back up.
Yes.
I think we've been seeing a lot of this internationally as well. I mean, Crown, after having a decent year last year, is having a woeful one now, and it's only getting worse as the season goes on, because it can just be sort of this compounding effect. So we have a look at our starting rosters. No changes here on the side of APK. Cover not coming into the mid lane, which I think if you guys were watching both promotions and anywhere else that he's been playing on any sort of competitive stage, that's probably a good thing. Kaini even looked like he was doing a bit of 1v9ing on the APK side. So looking forward to seeing whether he can stand the test of the Afreeca Freecs. Fly having a great season thus far. Keen having some ups and downs, but the ups have been hella high. And Spirit here as well, finding some success on Elise, unlike everybody else, as well as pulling out that Karthus. Very exciting to watch, and Mystic and Jelly also having some time in the sun. A difficult roster for this APK, struggling APK Prince squad to go up against, but we'll see whether they can do it here today. A reset of a couple of days here, so possibly some time to get themselves together, get back into a better headspace, See a little bit of worry here on Flawless, but maybe that is just killer instinct. Maybe.
Maybe that is
preparation.
Atlas, yeah.
My glass is half full for Flawless, okay? Half full.
Well, I am hoping to see some more exciting picks today out of Afreeca. I'd like to see Karthus again.
Oh, yeah.
It's always a pleasure.
I mean, that's always what you want to see. You just want to see Karthus at all stages of everything. If we could just go all for one versus all for one Karthus on everyone's side.
And then everyone just dies together and stays in passive.
I know, isn't it beautiful?
Yeah.
It's like a togetherness
Yes.
thing. It's just double ace every single time.
I like it.
Which, if you're playing Texas Hold'em, you'd be pretty psyched about.
There you go. Yeah.
Everyone wants 2 aces. And everyone also wants to get into ban and pick for game number 1 here of week 2. LCK Spring 2020 APK will be on our blue side. And let's see what they're going to be prioritizing here in this draft, as Afreeca almost banned the Kiana at the same time as the Lucian ban.
Yeah, that was a very fast decision. I'm actually really surprised that we're not on 10-3.
Yeah, we're not.
I thought this would be...
Nope. Otherwise, you would have seen
patch.
a lot of discussions about Rumble. I believe that Scrap Shield situation might be pushing him out of every single role in League of Legends at the moment. Aphelios also getting a nerf of let's take away infinite range on his Calibrum Q. Seems like a good idea, everyone. As Set is going to be the last ban here on APK and Afreeca. They banned their own Pantheon. Fly's sick of it. He's done.
He's done, yeah.
He's played 4 games out of his 5 on the Pantheon, and he's like, this time, I don't know about it.
Champion's really strong, able to be flexed into multiple roles, even able to do some pretty cheesy stuff still down in bottom, so perhaps other teams, especially inside of scrims, are beginning to pick it up. As APK, no surprise there, Aphelios is going to get B1.
Yep, there's the Elodios. I'm going to do my best to not say the wrong things here. Is the Wombo combo, the Elise that we were talking about before, and the Rumble to come down as well. The Rumble likely to be flexed into 3 roles at this stage, but Afreeca loves support Rumble. They absolutely adore it. And it might mean that we're going to see Senna here in the LCK as well, because Rumble Senna has been a pretty gross combo.
Rumble Soraka. Okay,
Oh,
that's the original combo that was causing
Let's just
Rumble.
make sure that we've only got magic damage in every single role.
Exactly.
That's what we need. And if it is Rumble Soraka, that's like, if you then put, say, Vladimir Syndra or something like that, you've actually just got straight damage everywhere. Because Soraka does surprisingly large amounts of damage. As the Ornn's being looked at, that are not actually locked in just yet. I want Ixu to get some sort of counterpick. So I hope this is going to Kaini so that Ixu can bring out some of his craziness, because that's how APK promoted. That's how they got here. Keep doing that. Keep doing what worked, because nothing else is.
And Afreeca, they're going to have to respond to this as if Ornn is able to be flexed.
Oh, Ashe Rumble, also a decent lane. That's a lot of Wombo combo. Plus, you've got the fire and ice situation going on. I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that.
One thing about this, though, is that there's already incentive for the enemy team to have Merc Treads. And so in that regard, the Ashe Arrow as well as the slows just get hit a little bit.
That being said, that means they're building Merc Treads and not Ninja Tub.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm picking up what you're putting down. Blitzcrank.
Yeah, glad.
Gonna be banned away. I don't know if this is suggesting that it might be an R4 Thresh, or that Soraka could still end up being picked up, but definitely a bit less likely. As APK now, they have to decide what they want to ban away. It's looking like Aatrox.
I just don't think he can pinch Keen, though. He's got too many champions.
Yeah, there's still way too many physical damage champions.
He is very, very, very good on Aatrox, so I guess just get rid of the ones you definitely don't want to deal with. There's the bottom lane. Hook champions being taken away. The Thresh still available, like you were talking about, and might be something that APK considers banning at this point. Renekton, though, is where they're going to go. I wonder what that means as far as what Ixu is deciding to bring towards that top side. It's likely that he will have to blind pick it, just because already Afreeca have a lot of flexibility as to where this Rumble is going to go. Rumble a great pickup for that reason, as Fly going back to an old favorite here. His Orianna in the Casper Cup was actually fantastic.
The really scary thing about this, though, is yes, the enemy team's not really going to have any armor, and so Mystic is going to be enabled, but you have 3 champions building pure magic damage on the right-hand side. The Orianna has to come in blind because there's very few mages that can go against the entire field without just finding themselves in a pretty awful matchup, but Victor's coming in, and paired with the Ornn, he does end up getting the Rabadon's death cap usually.
Yeah,
and that
the
helps.
mega death cap.
Yeah, it helps bring Victor back in line with the Victor of old.
Oh, here we go. This is what we've been waiting for, an Ixu champion. Because he's not going to win if he's not playing an Ixu champion. This is why you've got to be yourself, everyone. Stay true to who you are. Don't be playing these meta champions like Set and Mordekaiser.
What?
No. As that's Leona. So we're doing something very different here, and with the Victor being locked in, it would have had to have been Ornn support, and Secret was not willing to reveal that one just yet.
It could be Rumble support here, and this could be a Fiora counterpick.
I guarantee that that is Rumble support. That was already penciled in my notebook, in my diary. Because Afreeca love it. They think it's really strong, and I also think that it pairs very well into the Ashe. Now Keen wondering how greedy he can be, and the Gangplank is going to come down. Happy to have that decent laning phase at the beginning and trying to scale alongside the Ornn. I really like Cannon Barrage as a response to the Ornn Horn as well, meaning that you can control part of the battlefield yourself, even if the knock-up is very powerful. You force your opponent to reposition, and you can also split push on the other side. So Afreeca, the composition has come together, and this is a lot of AD damage that's coming down now in AoE for this squad. So you do see all of that magic damage, and APK are incentivized to build a lot of magic resist. Then if you do that, Mystic and Keen will destroy you.
Yep. Side of the team fights, the Gangplank obviously going to be able to scale up and find advantages up there in the top lane. Ashe is going to be a huge component to this team composition, but APK, they do have a lot of scaling themselves. They have the Ornn, Rek'Sai, Victor, Aphelios, and Leona. So this team composition really comes online at 2 items, and then it continues to keep getting stronger from that point forward. So the early and mid-game transitions for Afreeca is going to be really important for them, and going super late game at 4+ items, the team comps just really do favor APK, Gangplank, Elise, Orianna, Ashe, and Rumble. The Elise obviously going to fall off and start decaying, as will the Rumble. So we'll see what the first 20 minutes of the game have in store, because that's going to dictate what's going to end up happening.
Well, here we are on the Rift for game number 1. Unfortunately, still no fans allowed. Coronavirus is a real thing and something that we want to avoid here in the LCK. And therefore, until further notice, there won't be any fans in LoL Park. Flawless takes first damage of the week. Volatile Spiderling from Spirit. There's Jelly looking for some harpoons. I think both of these compositions are interesting when it comes to scaling. I think Rek'Sai and Elise both do similar things, although I guess Rek'Sai sticks around in relevance for a little bit longer than the Elise would.
The other thing is Rek'Sai will be more relevant than the Elise because of the way that APK will end up itemizing. Elise won't find herself being able to do that much damage. Sweeper Lens comes in here. Everyone's just going to share a little bit of XP. Put down a little bit of his zombie ward right there.
Mystic trying to defend his zombie ward. Secret will come over and bop it. Takes a harpoon. Actually a fair bit of damage here as Secret. You may not have wanted to do that as the ward does come in. Down to 100. Oh my god, the flash comes in late, but still has to be used as the red buff spawned, and already APK well and truly on the back foot. Was that zombie ward worth it, Secret?
Well, he got 1 gold, so I do believe that's a hashtag worth in my book, Alice. I'm not sure about you.
I often do flash to get a gold. Yeah. That's generally what I do.
He has 1 more gold than he would have had he not ate it.
That's true.
That is the way that the math works out.
And also, if he never killed it, where does that gold go?
That's a good point.
Does it sit on the floor? Because if you walk over it, it's not like it goes, there's the gold that you found after the ward died.
I've never heard a truer statement in my life.
Or what?
What, me?
I did.
Okay, whatever.
No, it was supposed to be an ISO watch.
Sure.
Yeah, you know how it's multifaceted. As Secret's in again. Has himself the Aftershock, but not anymore. Mystic cancels that auto attack. We'll go back to these minions. Level 2 gathered.
Hawkshot.
Yeah, taking level 2. Standard.
Hawkshot coming out, and now with all these spellcaster minions and the cannon arriving, Mystic and Jelly, they could just hard shove this wave and do a cheater recall. And given that Leona has no sustain, coming back into lane with either you pick up a call or you pick up another Doran's Blade on Ashe off the recall would just be a lot more favorable for them to do, but instead they're going to try to crash the wave and they're going to try to endlessly poke, as it looks like Spirit is going to eventually make his way down.
Vision is going to be spotted here, so Spirit knows that they know where he is, but Flawless is still down here. Oh, there we go. Scryer's Bloom spots out Flawless. And now Mystic and Jelly have all the information that they need. This APK bottom lane, everything's just going wrong. A Leona without flash, and now being pushed in behind a level. It's just terrible news for the bottom lane of APK. All right. Still, that one last Raptor, the lonely one, going to be taken here by Flawless. As I haven't seen an Elise with a lead against the Rek'Sai as far as farm is concerned this large in a really long time. Rek'Sai does get around the jungle very effectively, as now Tremorsense spots out the Elise, but level 4 to level 3. It's going to be a smite fight most likely. Preyseek is going to miss, as there's the teleport. Flawless going to have to get the hell out of there. Is the teleport used to get Fly back to lane? And also denies the Rift Scuttler as well. I actually think that is definitely worth it. 4 Fly there, gets himself that cheetah recall. The teleport coming in from Kaini anyway, so no advantage to be had there for the victor. And
the other thing about what's happening this early on is the Elise, all of our camps are still up. We got a semi-trade going on here.
Yep, the onslaught coming in. Q does miss there from Hybrid, and now Secret down to about 100. Autos to slow down Frostshot working here onto Hybrid. Severum being utilized, trying to get that health back, but the flash is going to have to be used. Volley comes down, Secret blocks it, and had the Eclipse to make sure that he survives as well. I believe Mystic has popped his potion. Time Warp Tonic may be utilized there, because he got a lot of health back at the beginning.
And also this bot lane for Afreeca is just so far ahead right now. They're already up 25 CS. At the end of this, they're going to be up 30, as well as crash the wave, and I do believe they're going to end up getting a plate, as Spirit now going to turn his attention to the Ocean Dragon.
Should very easily be able to get this one as well. This is a flow-on effect of not only denying Flawless, but also the amount of control the bottom lane has. As this one's going to get pulled out. Flawless's control ward will remain, but Spirit's quite low, and Keeney's coming around. So they are going to stop the Drake for the moment, prioritizing Mystic's recall timing above anything else. As he has the Berserker's Greaves on his first back. An interesting first choice. Will mean that he's able to get around this lane quite nicely. Sidestep things like Zenith Blades.
Movement speed converts into the ability to deal more damage, especially while kiting.
Especially as Ashe, right?
Yeah.
And that's what she does. That's what she's doing right now. And Lethal Tempo actually allows the attack speed to scale even more as well. So I don't mind it from a pure mathematical standpoint. Keen, underneath his turret, taking a fair bit of damage. Just shows that Ornn is just a cool champion. Ixu going to be getting rid of some of these barrels at the same time. That Q does miss. But Keen probably just looking for a back right here. Flawless. His position, I think, was sussed out by Keen.
Keen finally going to end up recalling, but he's down in gold inside of the lane. Or he's down in CS, not necessarily down in gold, as Gangplank is a bit of an interesting champion. As Ixu now is going to get a free recall off, and Keen is being outlaned right now in this matchup.
Yeah, Ixu actually doing a great job. We haven't actually checked in with the matchup so much this game, so we're not entirely sure how, but might have just been lane manipulation, utilizing Ornn just being good as a champion for the first few levels. As Kaney doing his Doinby impression, just Chaos storming the wave to make sure that he can clear that one out and secure a blue buff. But it looks like Flawless is actually going to be taking his Wolves first, and he'll collect it on his way back. Hex core upgraded. The Sapphire Crystal there as well. Looks like it's going to be the Luden's Echo second here on the Victor. Build that we're completely okay with because it's not a forbidden book.
That is true. Everything else so far going extremely slow. Not a lot of action. Bot lane just completely content to just keep coasting ahead as Rek'Sai is going to come down here.
Being double the CS at 8 minutes into the game is just silly. That's a great stun to come down. Flawless finds his way in there, looking to try and get the easy kill here as Cannon Barrage comes down as well. Mystic, can he actually get this 1 versus 3 inside the Cannon Barrage is the question. Spirit going to come round. Mystic has the cleanse, but doesn't have a second one. Is now Secret in trouble. Flash forward onto Spirit, who goes up into the sky and avoids death. Now Hybrid, can you get the work done? Level 6 was gathered by Mystic, and now trying to get the aggro off from these minions. In goes the Xenoblade. Double kill for Spirit. Can he make it a triple now as Secret trying to run through the alcove, and the level up is pretty nice here from Spirit as well. Secret, I have a feeling you're going to go down as the Q avoided, but gets that CD refunded and will be able to grab the eventual triple as Fly throws down the shockwave. Keeney gets ignited, but will be able to make it to relative safety, and the action just never ceases, it appears, after we were talking about a lull state.
And so, yeah, we were mentioning the lull state, obviously really heavy trade down there in bottom, and then it pans to mid lane, and looks like there was maybe almost going to be a solo kill. But take a look at how this all transpires. Hybrid loses enormous amounts of HP. Eladios doing a lot of things, blocking up Jelly. And the heal doesn't end up coming out until pretty late. The Ignite already down onto him as Spirit eventually arrives in. Secret takes the Zen's Blade onto him. And then at that point, they try to immediately burst down the Elise, but eventually she's able to get up into the rappel. Mystic Enchanted Crystal Arrow, but super close range, doesn't have a lot of duration on it, and then Spirit ends up getting the level up off a minion here, which does certainly help out. Misses the cocoon, but doesn't quite matter.
Yeah, and then Q's a couple of times here. You do need to be in vision for that one to go off. The Aphelios actually got the kill. I thought that it was Secret that picked up that kill there. So the fact that out of those 2 kills that did go down, both of them are now on the Aphelios. So probably one of the best news stories for APK that they could get out of that moment, despite not necessarily coming out on top as far as kill score is concerned. So goes back, gets himself a few swords, a big one and a couple of small ones. So he's going to be doing a fair bit of work now. See how Hybrid does convert.
And also in mid lane, it was a little surprising that Fly, who has Spellbook, didn't want to trade Flash for Flash against Victor. It would have made him a much more vulnerable sitting duck than Fly would be.
Yep. Oh no. Spirit's going to miss the cocoon. Chaos Storm comes down, does have the repel.
Spirit needs to drop down sooner.
Yeah, well, the heal does come in. Thankfully, there are Spiderlings to tank up this turret. But that was an odd one. He really wanted to come down on top of Kaney there, but isn't able to. Hybrid going to be using his Severum pistol. Help keep him together here in this lane. Having a look at the damage dealt, certainly Mystic doing a great job, and the fact that everyone stood in the Cannon Barrage helped Keen's statistics out here. As he's also seeming to have found himself in this lane, able to get the shove, and you know, big power spike in the Sheen just in general, but he's now ahead, or was ahead, in that gold.
3.5 minutes until the next Infernal Dragon, or well, the next dragon's going to come up. It will be Infernal. And if we get Cloud Soul, that will be a little bit of a party pooper.
It will. But Mountain Soul, is that much better?
Mountain Soul is pretty valuable if you're APK.
That's true. The Ornn certainly going to be able to utilize that one very, very well. As an arrow comes down, immediate cleanse, but the equalizer's there as well. Teleport to come forward as Secret's going to deliver himself. He will be the first one to go down, but can they get more as Fly teleported in? 4 people invested and only the support to fall. still probably worth it. Cannon Barrage also utilized as the Globals putting into full effect here for Afreeca in this early game. Keen still with control of his lane.
Looks like Victor may be looking to move up to top lane, but just going to take a quick detour and path immediately back to mid. Only 2 turret plates down here in bot, so APK right now currently down about 2,000 gold, but all things considered, that's really not the end of the world for them. Ornn is about to hit level 11, so he's going to be 1 level away from getting an ornament.
Yeah, we're not looking at this game as a guaranteed Afreeca win or anything like that. And APK need to be a little bit further behind before we're riding them off with the current composition that they have. Because I think the ease of use, like just front-to-back team fighting with this particular roster is very comfy. Ornn, fantastic at reliable engage. Secret can do the same thing, non-committal. And now APK are lying in wait. They're looking for Spirit. Can he even get into the sky? The answer's no. Just chain CC'd and destroyed. And Flawless is going to put down Shelly. They'll break open the outer turret in the mid lane. And this is what we were talking about. APK still with some strings on their bow.
The thing that we were mentioning inside of the draft phase, we talked about the early and mid game was extremely important. And even though Afreeca found themselves so much success, okay, well, Keen should die here.
Yeah, he gets the board delivered. Bellow's Breath to come down, and Flawless is barely even necessary in this fight, but he's still going to be able to take that kill away from Ixu and gather some plates here as well. Afreeca, they had their moment at the beginning, but it's already turning around. Keen does have his teleport available. Trinity Force was completed on that back, and look, it's not like Afreeca are going to definitely lose or anything like that, but this game is certainly not over for APK.
Take a look at this as Jelly just looking for wards or anything along with Spirit. And then right here, Keen has to know that if Ixu is positioning the way that he was with that HP, that mana value, something probably should have been aloof.
Yep, and Keen deciding not to put his flash into that one either. Talk shot from Mystic will just skirt over, have a look at where Flawless is, finding him there, as you can see. Still, Afreeca with a slight gold advantage, largely to do with the fact that the bottom lane is still behind by a lot of minions. And a few extra turret plates also going down on that side as well. Having a look at the amount of gold picked up for those turret plates, there's still a couple that were picked up on APK's side, and in fact getting those 3 in the mid lane with Shelly's help put them ahead as far as the turret plate gold is concerned.
Spirit now.
Moment of truth, LS.
Yeah. Well,
are we having fun with the Dragon Soul? The answer is no.
The answer is no. We are going to end up getting a Cloud Soul this game, regardless who ends up picking it up. And you can just see the itemization. The Merc Treads have already come in. Now, interestingly enough, Ornn does have the Ninja Tabi.
He doesn't necessarily need Mercury Treads just because he can use...
He also has his W.
Yeah, exactly. So you can use the Bellow's Breath to get out of the way there as Hybrid. Getting the slow Mystic. Going to cleanse. Zenith Blade going to go wide. Remember, you get the extra tenacity after a cleanse, and that is exactly what kept Mystic alive there and out of range of the Zenith Blade. Still very, very close. Didn't have to use his flash.
Gold score is only 300.
We're going to land onto Flawless here. A lot of damage going down as the ram does land onto Jelly. Secret was lying in wait, but Afreeca playing on the back foot, as you can see. Keen up towards the top side, not having to invest the ult just yet. Getting the local gold here for the Gangplank will be important, but he's not going to on this push, I don't believe, as he just walks away. I believe the minions are going to kill it. Never mind.
I am completely unsure why he didn't just take the turret.
He just wants to leave it for a little bit. Put Ixu into a false sense of security as Keen gets knocked up. And I don't know whether it's false, actually, because he's got a pretty cool cape. And it's going to keep him pretty alive. This scenario is now they're looking for the dive. You can see the parlays are not going to get answered. Keen still has his flash, trying to turn it onto Flawless, and Spirit is coming in. There's the red carpet. Walk down it, gentlemen. as Flawless down to 400 health has to flash out of the way. Chaos Storm was used in the mid lane once again to clear minions. And Mystic just by himself on the bottom side. Secret walks on over and Mystic's gonna have to peel for himself. As APK doing a lot of damage, and finally the turret does go down.
Mystic's advantages are slowly fading away, and this is mostly due to the fact that Jelly is constantly roaming and they weren't able to achieve anything more down in bottom lane. As Afreeca, they're going to end up picking up Shirley here on the map. 2.5 minutes until the Cloud Dragon will end up coming up. That'll put him to Drake Point. As Afreeca, they're having Fly rotate down, but...
oh my god, the damage. As, yep, Hybrid able to get some work done here. Fly not able to get there quite in time. You can see Mystic, he was trying to go for some sort of bait play, still had the flash available, but wasn't even able to use his Blade of the Ruin King at that stage. There's the shockwave. This one's going to land onto Keeney. As Fly gets underneath the turret, the Ornhorn going to come in, actually helped out. No, didn't actually do any damage onto Fly there, but it will be a 1-for-1. Jungler for mid lane. APK well and truly still in this. In fact, finally with a gold lead for themselves.
APK is actually quite far ahead right now, which the gold score and the Dragons would not suggest, but Ornn is about to be level 13. He's about to complete his second Ornn item, and so you have to factor in the gold stats that he's getting from just that item, and then in addition to that, Flawless is going to be able to get Obsidian Cleaver probably as soon as Ornn levels up.
Yeah.
Take a look at this replay here, and Mystic just ends up being killed really quickly. And the thing about this is, this team composition will not have a lot of damage Afreeca, because 3 of their champions are not really going to be able to deal damage because of the itemization on APK, and then Gangplank's ultimate dealing magic damage is not going to be that impactful. You see double Merc Treads, Luden's Echo almost completed by Keeney, and then that'll end up being upgraded. The Infinity Edge going to be upgraded by Hybrid. Hybrid also has the Cleanse, which scales against Afreeca, and so all things considered, Atlas, it may only be an 800 gold lead, but it's going to feel a lot more than that, especially because of how the champions all conduct themselves within one another. Afreeca is so far behind.
Oh, Shockwave onto 2. Cannon Barrage is in as well as Fly survived for a really long time. Multiple teleports to come in as he got Keen, trying to fight on his ultimate. Spirit wrapping around looking for an area of attack, but couldn't actually get in. The rest of Afreeca too slow to react. And Flawless is still pushing in the mid lane. Equalizer just to try and buy some tempo back on Afreeca's side. And yeah, this is an APK that looks reforged from their disappointing week 1.
Looks like they're even going to be able to pick themselves up the Cloud Dragon. All of them must be sitting on a lot of gold. Phage and Kindle Gem has been in Rek'Sai's inventory for so long.
Yep, just needed that extra 950. Should actually have that after this, as the Cloud Drake, like you were talking about, is going to be gathered. Hybrid in the mid lane, just pushing. Mystic going to be able to pick up the wave, avoids the Q, which still has infinite range on the Calibur. Great. No 10.3 just yet. It's probably going to be next week. Most likely is Arrow going to land onto Secret. This should just be a free pickoff, as the slows are going to be infinite, despite the Merc Treads that have already been completed, and Fly's going to grab it with a Dissonance.
Mystic is going to end up being the only hope inside of the sustained team fights that are going to break out a couple of minutes from now.
Aside from Keen being able to land like multiple barrels in a team fight, it will be all on Mystic. As a lot of that death ray damage also now needing to be respected. Keeney with his perfect hex score and Luden's Echo, which will likely be a Luden's big Echo. I don't know, loud Echo?
I like that.
Yeah, something like
Actually
that.
Echo?
Yeah, actually Echo.
Luden's. You know, not even an Echo anymore, it's just Luden's.
Yep.
Straight up, as there it is, the Ornn item comes in, and also Ornn is 14, which means Luden's plus Obsidian Cleaver or Eye Edge able to be given over right away.
Now, the big brain move would be to upgrade the Molten Edge now and hope that Kaney accelerates towards a Death Cap faster.
Yes.
So that he can upgrade that instead. Just a lot more damage availability as the Infinity Edge is, of course, ready to be moltenized.
The other thing about this is we're at 20 minutes. The game is virtually even in terms of gold, and nothing is too awful. The other problem is that a decaying Elise is the one with all the gold on the side of Afreeca, and that's the worst spot for the gold to be allocated because this champion is falling off pretty fast. You look at the base levels on everyone else in the game. Keeney, 15, Ornn, 14, Elise is 10. And then in addition to that, she built Zanya's Hourglass first. So you're talking about now needing to acquire a Void Staff, but when the game state is as even as it is, your carries are going to be the ones that are taking your jungle camps. Spirit's gold per minute is going to be extremely low. They don't have a Cloud Soul to threaten because APK ended up getting the most recent Drake, and things just feel awful.
Well, now it's a lot of damage landing onto Secret. The Ornhorn going to come back, and can APK actually turn this teamfight fly? Avoids a lot of the damage as the ultimate comes out of Aphelios.
Moonlight Vigil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got C.
I almost said Moonfall, and I'm like, wait, there isn't a Diana in
Look,
this game.
I've been doing a little bit of my homework.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
what is this?
Well,
you're not an Aphelios caster. That's
Vedius told me that he would sub.
Really?
If I knew some Aphelios things, so, you know.
All right, so give it to us. You got to earn that Twitch Prime, my friend.
I said Moonlight Vigil.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you just calm down now.
Come on, he's got a Q for every one of his weapons. I know like 2 of them, I think.
One ability per sub, you know?
Yeah, well,
you know what I'm talking about?
Okay, there we go. That's fair enough. I know Severum is Onslaught, and there's like Moonshot is the Caliber or something, I think. As we've got an ult to come down, Spirit avoids it, flashes over to get away from Secret, as the red buff is stolen, and they get themselves a free flash on the back end. Hybrid, speaking of free things, is just going to be able to take that turret as another equalizer comes in, but bit of miscommunication between Afreeca, as that equalizer was sent into the void, basically.
Okay, well, Luden's Echo and Infinity Edge picked up, as it looked like Victor, I think he wants to go into Banshee's Veil, which isn't that bad. Stack more magic resistance, have the ability to not get hit by Enchanted Crystal Arrow or an Elise Cocoon. It's definitely a completely fine purchase, as I think APK, I really think they're going to win this game, Alice.
It's not looking good for Afreeca. I absolutely agree with you. I mean, there is, you know, theoretical late-game teamfights that they can win, but it's just going to take so much more finesse than what APK's teamfight needs. APK, they put Ixu in the front, they get Flawless to jump onto Mystic somehow, and then kill him with his ultimate, and then allow Secret to land a pseudo-decent ultimate, and then you've got so much AoE damage out of Hybrid and Kaney that it doesn't even really matter. So throw all the pieces together and you should be all right. And here's the Ornhorn. Kane gonna flash early and avoids the second part of the ram.
And well, 10 seconds now. Cloud Dragon going to be coming up again, likely going over to APK. And interestingly, these Cloud Drakes, as they come in the later stages, they are actually going to be quite big because it's stacking over and over for the Leona and the Ornn.
Yeah.
And the last I checked, Flash isn't a 20-second cooldown, Atlas. So.
No, not so much. Not so much. And it's going to be pretty necessary as well, as Kane putting down some barrels. Flawless and Ixu off on the side. Ixu with his ultimate still on cooldown as Kaney very early flash away from that arrow. Knew that that one was likely going to land true, and now with Victor flashless, maybe an opportunity for Afreeca to step a little bit further forward, is now Flawless behind enemy lines. And Afreeca grouped as 5. Jelly in there does have the equalizer back up again. As our Spirit doesn't find the cocoon. This is so scary. Afreeca looking like they're posturing like they want a fight here, but not entirely sure whether they're favored in that moment. As now Flawless going to start up this Cloud Drake. APK have grouped themselves back up again. They are going to lose the Cloud Drake, but can we find an ensuing fight? Flawless just going to wait for that tunnel, and the Ornhorn going to be called. Mystic in trouble, gets knocked up, has cleanse, has flash, hasn't used any of them just yet. Eventually uses it, but it's way too late. As Spirit takes down the Rek'Sai. It's a 1-for-1, but there's no Ashe in this fight. The hard carry for Afreeca is down. The Afreeca are going to disengage. They lose the Drake, and they lose their AD carry.
Now, Spirit ended up getting yet another kill, and then I want to point out that he built a stopwatch, of all things, to pair with the Zhonya's Hourglass. So, I don't feel like it's a very astute analysis of the game state here. As we take a look, and like you were saying,
I mean, there are a lot of moments when Mystic could have cleansed and flashed.
Yes.
However, he decided to not do any of them. You can't cleanse flash out of a knockup, so wasn't able to actually use it then. But when the Ornhorn was running forward, that's when you could certainly use your flash. Sometimes you want to hold on to him though, and this time it cost him. Has himself a BF sword now. Went for the Phantom Dancer instead of the Runan's Hurricane, identifying that he needs a little bit more defensiveness, and might just be, you know, fighting against single targets one after the other, given how this composition is going to be working. It's not exactly like a Death Ball comp, APK wanting to have Ixu in the front, Flawless alongside him, so maybe not going to be able to get as much value out of the multi-target.
And Hybrid just going to end up shoving here in mid lane. Probably going to be Runan's Hurricane completed for him here soon, as he already does have the seal. He's been sitting on it for a little bit.
Well,
and okay,
found Spirit. He can go golden whenever he wants, as the heal does come through. Repel onto the ward, and APK going to take a equalizer for their trouble. Otherwise not be able to find the Elise, who's very close to getting flashback up, has those 2 stopwatch availabilities, given the Zhonya's and the added stopwatch. It's not a lot of cooldown on the Ram. The Call of the Forge God, certainly one that can come through quite a few times this game.
Yeah, this is going to be extremely scary. Remember, I mentioned how just because APK gets really strong at 2 items, that's not where they slow down. Victor, with the Banshee's Veil, he's also going to get another effective item after this, most likely.
Arrow.
Oh, okay, well. He could go in to Rabadon set cap, but also just has the option to get the Liandry's Torment.
Hybrid had great guns there. Crescendum, Calibrum is a good combo. Mark him up with the Q and shoot all of your little chakrams at your opponent from a million range. I say a million range, it's actually infinite range.
Yeah.
So I apologize. But that includes a million range as well.
Okay. How big is a million?
Really big.
Okay.
Kane gonna get knocked up, but is going to survive. Had oranges to eat. Eats them there on the way out. Infinity Edge done for Ashe. We've got 3-item power spikes for the Gangplank and the Ashe. Now for Afreeca, whether it means anything is yet to be known, because Mystic basically did nothing in the last team fight, and he's the one that we're looking at to really carry things through for Afreeca.
And Warmog's now complete on Ornn. And so we'll see if he just ends up going 4th item, Locket of the Iron Solari. That would just allow them to power through Afreeca if Ornn were to pick up that item. Looks like Guardian Angel going to be the next item of choice for the Rek'Sai. Stopwatch picked up actually as well for Ixu, so maybe it will just end up being Stone Plate.
Yeah.
As interestingly, Hybrid did not go Runans. He actually elected
for Rapid Fire.
Yeah, for Rapid Fire Cannon. As APK, they're just posturing, I think, until the Cloud Dragon. You know, I love this. I love how they're not trying to rush anything. Their champions keep getting stronger. There's no reason to fight.
Yeah.
And unless Afreeca want to be the ones to recklessly pull the trigger, APK should be completely content with just continuing to scale up to 3, 4, 5 items on all of their champions and feel good about it.
Yeah. Onus is definitely on Afreeca to get the work done here. Flawless gonna start up this Cloud Drake. Afreeca now actually looking for a fight potentially. Cannon Barrage is available as Flawless does take down the Dragon. Instant cleanse from Hybrid. Gets him out of that arrow. Good on Horn, but not quite enough as the Cannon Barrage doing a lot of work here. Secret has to flash. Spirit looking for a flank. Flawless comes on over. Shockwave lands, but only gets the Leona. Kaney has already flashed now, but Ixu going gold at the wrong time. Should actually create a target for Afreeca to take down, but no, it's Keen that falls. Hybrid was lying in wait, ready to take them. Chaos Storm not enough to take down Mystic, as now Flawless wants an opportunity to get back in here. Void Rush can actually be thrown out as the Prey Seeker landed, but it did land onto Jelly, not a target that Flawless could actually take out effectively. So as the dust settles, it is a 2-for-1, but in favor of APK.
These kind of trades are not going to be that good for Afreeca. Whenever the scaling team is making out or making even, it's always more beneficial for them. And we got a bit of a
Baron.
No, we got a bit of a I don't know really where to go with this, but basic mathematic failure here on the side of Spirit as he purchases an Oblivion Orb into a team that is stacking magic resistance. So
yeah.
Not the best purchase there. Definitely should have just gone for the Void Staff.
Well, we've got an Equalizer. It comes down and does a lot of damage there to Flawless.
Why does he... You know what? You're the glass half full kind of guy. Give me the reason for the Oblivion Orb.
It's so that he can deny the healing of Flawless. As in goes the Ram. Spirit going to repel it.
Quite.
Severum healing.
Okay. But that's...
Grasp of the Undying healing.
Ah, yes.
It's not about the Oblivion Orb. It's
Oh,
about
okay.
the Forbidden Book.
All right.
That's what he needs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
As Afreeca are going for a YOLO Baron. Jelly with the ultimate
They're
almost
all
back
in.
available again. And yeah, this is most certainly an all-in play. Cannon Barrage to try and get them out of position. And Afreeca are going to pull away. Cocoon goes wide. Solar Flare is in as now Secret makes his way into the pit. Hybrid takes down Keen immediately, and this is going to be a Smite War as Secret tanking up the Baron. Flawless going down so damn low as Spirit does secure Baron this time around. He will need to flash most likely to get out of this pit and does so, but Kaney's very, very low. Ixu also barely limping out of this one as Afreeca walk away with the Baron. Another Ornhorn as Mystic has been holding on to flashes all game. That time, of course, was able to. As APK get the Baron stolen out from under them.
That was really weird that Janna never decided to actually enter into the fight, as that was a lot of posturing there by Victor and Ornn.
Yeah, I'm surprised Janna's even here.
Janna is here.
All right.
You see where Hybrid was? Take a look at him in the team fight in the replay. As we're gonna see this replay one more time. Even though APK had the leg up, they got too needlessly aggressive. Ended up costing Spirit his flash and then inevitably his life. And then Afreeca bit off a little bit more than they could chew. And just look at Hybrid again. He goes into the Fog of War. Keen ends up going too far forward. Now, take a look at this team fight here. Spirit eventually going to go in onto Keen, locks him up. Ixu doing his best to tank, and watch Hybrid. This whole team fight.
He's wandering around doing nothing.
He's dancing.
He is.
Enchanted Crystal Arrow ends up landing onto the Victor. Hybrid feeling like he can't get into range, and then again, continue to watch him as Ornn walks forward, as well as Keeney.
And Hybrid still.
Hybrid
quite there.
He's doing something.
Well, maybe he'll do something now, as we've got once again both teams posturing against one another. Good cannon. Sorry, barrel lands onto Hybrid in the back line.
And so the Baron flip has brought Afreeca a chance where if they can somehow miraculously win a team fight through just sheer mechanical outplay of APK, they have a real chance to try to get some footing back in this game. And I think also if you're Afreeca here, you let APK take the Cloud Soul in order to allow the Elder Dragon to spawn, because that's going to be one of their actual outs. If you take the Cloud Dragon, you're guaranteeing this game's going another 10 minutes, and I don't think that's what you want to do when the enemy has Victor or Aphelios.
Oh, heck no. That being said, some of these barrels that Keen is lining up are certainly working. starting to soften the members of APK if he does eventually land them. He will have a lot of damage. The IE Essence Reaver and Trinity Force is all of the CDR that you would need, as well as a heck of a lot of damage, and now building towards something like the Guardian Angel into Sterix for some extra survivability. Gangplank does scale, and we've got a Rabbidan's Death Cap completed here for Fly. He needs a Void Staff. So hopefully, he's going to listen to us, build that one next. Mystic on 4 items, as you can see the heart monitor of a gold graph at the bottom of your screen. Certainly suits APK, who are still just... This is not fast and loose League of Legends by any means.
This is the...
They are slowly but surely boring Afreeca to death, and it will work.
It's something.
Yeah,
it really is.
Well, we're on soul point for both teams now, as Afreeca did elect to take down the Cloud Drake.
As Morellonomicon was picked up by Elise.
Yep, got the Forbidden Book Power Spike. There we go.
That's truly something else. I'm gonna need to take a quick photo of that one. Hold on here.
Yep.
And I got that for the record books.
Yep.
And
it's in the record now.
Okay,
that's going on your permanent record, Spirit. You can never wipe that slate clean. As, wow, death rate really starting to tear through the members of Afreeca.
Victor also building the Forbidden Book.
Oh, Mystic, not going to get hit by that one, as now Flawless has to be careful. He may just die here, as he does get the tunnel. Equalizer tries to find the Rek'Sai, but doesn't. Ixu going to be the one to eat the arrow, but not exactly the target that Afreeca want to be focusing. Bellows Breath to try and avoid some CC, but no hard CC actually coming down there as Mystic, oh my goodness, tagged by the Moonshot, but not the Moonlight Vigil, and will survive for the moment.
Hybrid not able to find his ultimate inside of that team fight. And APK is really fumbling in a lot of these team fights. Afreeca managing to dance and just play that a little bit better with their spacing and decision making inside of these fights, and it's really allowing them to remain in this game, even though it should have been over several minutes ago.
So Flawless didn't need to go in there. You can see Ixu, he's got the Ornhorn back up again. Like, it's already up.
Yes.
It's crazy the amount of ultimate cooldown reduction that they do have, and the Ornhorn at level 18, sorry, at level 16, of course, rank 3, is just not a high cooldown anyway. As Secret gets slowed by the dissonance, but there is enough magic with this to mean that it's not too much of an issue here, as use the Searing Charge to get to safety. And honestly, I don't know how much danger he was ever in, as a man with a Warmogs and a heck of a lot of sustain and defensive statistics.
Yeah.
He'll be absolutely fine. Damage dealt, gigantic on the side of Afreeca. But if it's all being done to Ixu, who's got a Warmogs and, like we were talking about, a huge health bar, it's not really a big deal.
And Baron's going to be up. Flawless level 14. The junglers are really, really low level. They're almost same level as the supports. As this,
I mean, you don't get much experience from just tunneling between your two tunnels over and over
You
again.
leave Flawless alone. Rek'Sai's getting plenty of exercise.
All right. That's a good point. It's not all about just experience, as Mystic, not tagged by the first half, not the second either. It's only going to land onto Spirit. Cannon Barrage is the trade. Jelly down to half, but Secret as well, almost out of this fight completely. As the arrow lands, oh, just a flash on the spot. It's the Shockwave to find Kenny in the backline. This could be the team fight that Afreeca were looking for. Hybrid auto attack, something for goodness sake. Spirit takes one and it does so much damage, but the Q is going to miss, and now Hybrid in the front line is not where he wants to be. He eventually goes down. 1,000 gold for Keen. This is the team fight victory that Afreeca were looking for. A disaster for APK in the game that they were supposed to win.
This was a game where APK found themselves with so many surreal advantages, especially given what happened in bot lane early on, as well as how good of a start Spirit had. And so for them to bring it back to just keep losing by going for one-man Ornn ultimates over and over, to Victor flashing into the Enchanted Crystal Arrow in this final team fight, they're just not up to the same level of mechanical ability, as well as these long stalemate games. They seem to fall apart gradually as it kept going on. We saw T1 ended up winning games in similar fashion.
Yeah, and
against
the first
other
match
teams
against Damwon, yeah, they were able to take the series, and they certainly shouldn't have.
The thing for me about this is it leads the winning team to false conclusions.
Yeah, I really hope that Afreeca assume that they lost this game.
Yeah.
Because actually, based on the draft and where the game got to, they against most other teams here in the LCK, they would have lost.
Right. If that were T1, if that were Sandbox, if that were Dragon X on the other side, in the spot that APK was in, this game was over for Afreeca a long time ago. It never even came down to this team fight. But the decision-making with the Ornn ultimate, the just sheer mechanics that came out of Keeney as well as Hybrid, everything was just...
I think Keeney was actually the one trying to carry.
He was trying.
He was trying, and that's why, you know, that one fail flash in the last team fight honestly felt like lights out, and I think Afreeca recognized that. They found that, like, this is going to be the Achilles heel of this squad because Hybrid was playing way too scared all game.
Yeah.
He wasn't actually able to step forward and get any of the autos. He had Gravitum ready for that last team fight, and straight up wasn't kiting, wasn't controlling, wasn't contributing for his team.
Absolutely, there were some spots where he can't realistically get into the fray without putting himself at too much risk, but a lot of that is a byproduct of his decision with positioning leading up to certain things, and
yeah,
even though it was definitely, this is definitely one of those Twilight Zone wins.
Yeah.
Definitely strange, as I don't really know who to give MVP to. I guess Mystic, just for being so consistent. I can't give it to Keen. He ended up actually losing his lane straight up to the Ornn.
Yeah.
Can't really give it to Fly either. He didn't do anything spectacular. Spirit
built a Morel and Omicron, so we can't give it to him.
Spirit.
I'm going to give it to Jelly.
Yeah.
Because he's the only other one.
Spirit failed math class, so.
Yeah. I just don't want these Elises to keep getting MVPs.
Jelly would make, I believe that it goes Mystic, then Jelly. Yeah, Mystic, then Jelly. Right. Would be my take. I'm interested to actually see what the vote does end up being, though, because this was a very long game, and when games do end up going long,
Mystic played this team fight about as flawlessly as you can. Pretty exceptional stuff. His positioning on Ashe in late game team fights is, it just gives me those Prey shivers from the old days. And you saw this game was very close. This game should have been an APK victory. But when it came down to it, the Ashe did a hell of a lot of damage. The cannon barrages were just soaked by Ornns and Rek'Sai's all game, which is why the Gangplank damage stats are so extraordinarily inflated. But Keen, his damage percentage numbers are going to be silly for this split if he continues to pick champions like his Aatrox or his Gangplank. And we'll see what he does pick in game number 2, and whether Afreeca Freecs are going to learn from this experience as more of a loss rather than a win, despite what it says on the scoreboard, because the draft wasn't what we wanted to see.
No. Yeah. And there's no reason for APK to put themselves into those holes that they have to dig themselves out of with mechanical prowess.
Yep, well, let's see what happens in game number 2 after a short break.
셋. 노래 갖고. 괜찮아 보여. 괜찮아.
천천히 보자 이거.
앞에 피탈 레오나
빨아볼게.
거를.
레오나 높여.
막아봐.
이거. 넥타이 높여.
잡았어.
넥타이 이거 우리 잡았어. 넥타이 높여.
파이팅 해야 돼.
앞에 조심해. 앞에 물려. 앞에 화염파.
앞에 맞을 때다. 앞에 봐.
앞에 높여.
오른.
앞에 높으려.
얘들아 끝내자. 넥타이 도는 거 생각해. 어디가 뚱해? 이거 지켜. 넥타이 높고